welcome back to Spending Plan 101 series. This is week 8. And today we're going to go through a very cool, hopefully you'll find it cool, exercise on midterm financial goals. Let's start off like we always do with an outline. Outline for today, we're going to do a quick review of what we talked about last time, which was credit card debt. I'll give you a few notes, kind of really emphasize really what I was trying to get at. Identify some midterm financial goals. Some recommended. It's not all the midterm financial goals. It's just some I think to be good to have. We're going to go through our fun exercise. And we're going to buy a car. Sort of. Something like that. And, of course, give you a homework assignment. And then I'll summarize what we did today and give you a sneak peek for what we're doing in our next lesson. Let us begin. So last time we talked about all these shocking stats with credit card debt. How the average college student is about $3,000 in credit card debt. The average American household has about $10,000 in credit card debt. And I give you the table there. You see the bottom of the screen. They talked about the comparison, how much more you end up paying per month based upon your credit score and in the interest rate you can qualify for. And the main point I wanted to get at was the importance of having really good credit. To know more about how your credit score is calculated and more information about that, I have a link below which you can click on, and I'll also provide it in the information box. But I really think it's absolutely critical that you have a good credit score. It's only going to save you more money. And two of the major components of your credit score are based upon your credit history, your payments, and then how much debt you have. And the approach that we outlined last time was, we're going to say you had $200 a month to, just to give an example, $200 a month towards debt repayment. And let's say the minimum payments on all your debts was $100. You would put $100 towards the minimum payment on everything. You make sure you always pay the minimum payments, and then the rest of what you have for debt repayment, you break it up in two. So in this case, $50 will be used towards the debt with the lowest balance, and then the other $50 will be used to the debt with the highest interest rate. So the goal of this approach is to really help you to improve your credit history, your payment history, because you're always paying the minimum payments on all your cards, and also get a snowball effect by killing off those lowest debts, and then also addressing the fact that you high interest rate credit cards or credit or debts, you want to be putting something towards that. So that's the approach again. You're making the minimum payments in all of them, and then half of it, of the money you have left over, be used towards lowest balance and half towards the highest interest rate. But we're not going to talk about debt anymore today. We're going to talk about midterm goals. So what are some good midterm financial goals? I have 5 listed here. And the first 2 refer to home ownership. A general rule of thumb is the most home you can afford is 3 to 4 times your gross income. So, just for example, I'm not saying I make much money, but if I made $100,000 a year, the most amount of home I could afford is between $300,000 and $400,000. If it's outside of that range, then that home is too much for me. Plain and simple. The other thing I need to make sure we're doing, now find out how much home I can afford, is to set aside money for that home. So I know, because I have a $100,000 income, I need to have saved between 30 and 60, so let's say $300,000 home, between $30 and $60,000 saved for that home. I'm a little more conservative. You could do the $400,000 home, whatever. I'm going to be the $300,000. So I say that, but I don't just want to save $36,000 for down payment. I also want to be able to furnish my home. Because one of the many mistakes a lot of first-time home buyers do is they'll buy a home that they can barely afford, and then they use all their money towards that down payment and don't have anything saved for furniture. And they're not just going to not furnish their home; they furnish their home on debt. And we just talked about that. We don't want to do that anymore. So we want to avoid that if possible. The other thing you want to do, and this pains me to say this, but it's true because I'm a trained mechanical engineer, is that cars break down. And they don't tend to last as long as they should. And some of it's because of the way we've been conditioned. We want a new car every 5 to 7 years or so. So we need to plan for that. Other things you need to be planning for are having a nice vacation and starting a business. Particularly when we live in the United States. If you live in the States, we live in a very much capitalistic system here in the USA. I think you need to be thinking about owning your own business. And the biggest hurdle or obstacle most people face into launching their entrepreneurial idea is just having the financial resources to start their idea. But let's go through our fun exercise, and we'll talk more of these other things in the weeks to come. So 2 points before we actually go and buy this car. The first point being, everyone needs to have an auto replacement fund. Again, I can tell you this as a mechanical engineer. It's not a question of if your car is going to break down, but when your car is going to break down. Okay. And again, sometimes people just want to have new cars, plan for that. Okay. The other thing the first thing you need to ask yourself when you go to buy a car is how much car can you afford? Okay. Because oftentimes people go with you shopping with their eyes, like, oh, that looks nice, and ooh, I want the newest model, but can you afford that? Okay. So let's go through this quick exercise. We're going to go through this website, www.crown.org. And it's a really cool website. We'll be doing a lot of things here in the coming weeks to come. So you can see the website here, crown.org. What I want you to do is go to the Tools tab here. See it? And then go down to calculators. Click on calculators there. Okay. So you can see all these different calculators. Some of these we'll use in the future. You can play around with them for the time being. But let's just scroll down to transportation calculator. There are 3. I want you to click on the one in the middle, the auto affordability calculator. Okay. Now, this is where you need to figure out, looking at your spending plan, being realistic and honest, how much can you afford as a down payment? Okay. Let's say, doing pretty good. I got $5,000 saved. Okay. Doing really good. $5,000. Great. Okay. And let's say I can afford, another rule of thumb is transportation should be about 12% of your budget. So if I make about $3,000 a month, most of that we want to have towards, transportation being, my car note, my insurance, auto insurance, my loan replacement, as far as like, automobile replacement, because I'm going to get a new car eventually. And also thinking about, maintenance, because you got to get oil changes and things like that. That would be $360 a month. If I make $3,000 a month, it'd be $360 a month I would use towards transportation. Anyhow, let's just say I make $150. I have $150 I can use a month for my car note. Interest rate between 3 and 7% typically. If you have really good credits, around 3%. Not so good credit, around 7. Let's go in the middle, say 5. The loan term, the number of months. The maximum amount of time you can actually term rate for a loan is 7 years or 84 months. I don't recommend going beyond 3 to 5. So let's do 5 years, which would be 60 months. Okay. Value if you're trading, let's say I have a decent car now and it's worth about $2,000. Have that there. And then cash rebate. Let's say the dealer gives me $1,500 cash rebate. That's really good. Doubt I get something that good, but hey, it's just a point for an exercise for now. And according to this, I can afford a car that costs $16,449. Okay? The amount of loan I will need to qualify for is $7,949. The reason why I bring this up is because oftentimes dealerships no longer want to sell you a car. Rather, they want to sell you a loan. And the truth of the matter is this, you typically can get better financing through a credit union than you would through an auto dealer or even through a bank. So you want to figure out how much you need to go in, you can afford, and then you may want to go through a credit union to actually get the loan itself. So, but anyhow, let's kind of summarize what we did today and end this video. So your homework assignment for next time is to, again, as always, record your transactions, but think about how you're going to reach some of these your midterm goals. What are your midterm goals and how you're going to go about achieving them through money market accounts, automatic transfers. How are you going to do this? Okay. So today we did the review of debt, talking about some things about credit card debt. Gave you a link that was below during that part of the video. Identified some, midterm financial goals. We bought a car. We figured out we could buy a car that's about $16,000 based upon the information that I provided. Gave you a homework assignment. Really encourage you to really start thinking about your midterm goals. And then next week we're going to talk about long term, and I'm going to ask you for your number. If you want to know more, figure out what I'm talking about by asking for your number, check it out at the next session. Until then, I'm TruEngineer.